Yeah, it's been an ongoing discussion for some time. I would say, a week or so. In terms of when did we find out that he was actually going to be suspended? Maybe yesterday or the day before, late in the day, the day before, or yesterday at some point. There was a lot of discussion on the topic. Obviously, it's a sensitive topic, so I think there's a lot of discussion and a lot of thought that went through from the league perspective. And at the end of the day, they've made their decision. We respect their decision at this point. I haven't heard anything different so far.
But so you were not aware of an appeal because you didn't find out about it until yesterday.
Right. I mean, there had been some discussion of the possibility, but in terms of a final decision, it was late in the day before, or yesterday. I can't remember exactly. It's kind of running through. These days kind of get pushed together. So
yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, Kevin. We'll go next to Damien Calhoun with Daily News Group. Damien, go ahead.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, Damien.
With Sebastian gone for 2 games, how do you have to adjust things? Could we see more maybe Sasha in the midfield, or how do you sort of adjust things here the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, I mean, I think, how we adjust is really kind of a little bit dependent on the opponent. This game this week against the Red Bulls is a very specific game. Unlike most other games in MLS, the Red Bulls have a very specific style. And so we'll adjust according to what we think is going to give us the best opportunity against the way the Red Bulls play and to manage the game the right way for us. That may not be the same solution, obviously, in a week from now or next week. So that we'll kind of play that by ear. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And we have some guys who've gotten a lot of minutes during the preseason and guys who have had a lot of opportunities. So I feel like everybody's kind of ready to go. And it's just going to be us choosing a direction for who we want that to be and how that will look on the weekend. So, but guys are ready for it.
And one more, injury wise, is everybody available? That's everybody that's in camp, of course. Are they available for this weekend?
Everybody who has been available is available. The only one who is to be determined still, it will be Derek for tomorrow. He trained today. We'll see how he responds tomorrow. It'll be close. We'll see. It's a risk reward call at this point. So.
Thanks, Damien. We'll go next to Nikki Kay with Spectrum Sportsnet. Nikki, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, just from your experience as a defender, when you face an attack like New York's this early in the season, does that do anything to kind of test your guys' principles and philosophies as a defense and show your cards and what you need to work on? Are there any advantages to facing it earlier in the season than later?
Yeah, I like, as I said to the guys, I like a game like this early on because it typically has a different intensity level. There's no two ways about what they're going to do. They're going to play forward. They're going to play behind you. They're going to test you right away. In transitions, you have to be prepared. There is no seconds off. The only time we can rest is when it's our throw in, our free kick, our dead ball. That's when we can take a second and rest. But when the ball's in play, or it's their throw in or free kick, they're going to put it down and they're going to play forward and they're coming at you right away. So it's a wonderful test in concentration and also us being, together and our line being connected. We have to manage the depth because their 2 forwards have no problems just taking off and running in behind. So, our line being aware of when to drop and when to step it just becomes a new challenge today. The game is going to be faster, which I like. I think in some ways that really suits us, but I think it also gives us a good challenge here early on to evaluate some things as well.
Wonderful. And one more from me. This is your home debut. Will you have any family and friends attending? Who's going to be there from the Vanney crew?
My boys are here. They came in this week, or at the beginning of last week, I should say. So they're here with me. The rest of my family is still in Toronto, and I might have some in-laws mother-in-law might come down to help me with the boys and to watch the game. They're big fans, so it could look like that. But I'm just excited that the Galaxy fans have an opportunity to come to the stadium now and that the players get to feel the energy of the fans again in their home stadium. That's what makes the game special. And I'm excited for them and for the fans to be able to share the experience together again. It's the way it should be.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep. Thanks, Nikki. We'll go next to Josh Gessman with Corner of the Galaxy. Josh, go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, Greg, I know we talked a little bit about the win last week and how it gave you, a lot of confidence. There was a lot of emotion there. A lot of things probably went well for you. Is there any concern that turns into overconfidence or over emotion whenever you go up against your second game? Is there a way to sort of manage the expectations between the two games?
No, I think we're very early in the season to feel overconfident. I think we're still very much in a process phase of evaluating where we're at, taking steps forward as a group. This week last week's game isn't going to have much of the identity of this week's game, but we did take a look at some of the things that we want to be aware of as we continue to build and put bricks in our house as we move forward, as we would say. So there's things to learn from, a lot of things to continue to progress. Again, I like the potential of the intensity of this game and the speed. I think the last game was kind of slow and methodical in many ways. This game will be different. So I like that. It's a new challenge. I think our group recognizes that it's a new challenge, and every game presents something different for us. And we're looking forward to just, again, the process of getting after this game and having to be focused and ready for every single play. And I think that suits us well right now. It's something that we need right now.
Perfect. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Josh. We'll go next to Sam Stechel next with The Athletic. Sam, go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Greg, for taking the time. Not so much related to this week's game or anything, but with all of the news around the Super League this week, it kind of created a little momentum and a little.
We're not going to play in it, if you were wondering. We're not going to play in that day.
So no Super Club in the Super League.
We're going to stay out. We'll see how it transpires, and then maybe we'll get in. We'll see.
But it sort of reignited the constant chatter about MLS and Liga MX and the growing relationship between those two leagues. I'm curious what you think about the relationship between MLS and Liga MX, and if you would like to see the leagues kind of come closer together and have more competitions against each other.
I like. I don't know that it necessarily needs to be a one league per se, but I like the interleague play. I like when the two club or two leagues have competition, whether that's in Champions League or some version of it. I think it's interesting. It's the highest level of international soccer at the club level that we're going to get probably in our region. So I think our players who come internationally like that as well. It's something that is a little bit that they're used to when they're, for example, in Europe or South America and the clubs play in Copa Sudamericana or different things down there. It gives us some competition that's other than the teams we play all the time. And I think the international players love it. I think our domestic players need it. And I think it's a great way to for the players to something for them to look forward, and I think it's good for their progress and development. Second is, I think the fans enjoy it. I think there's enough crossover now between fans of one league and fans of the other, and with I think Champions League getting more and more competitive between the two nations specifically, I think the competition can be very good. I think from a fan base and from a revenue perspective and all the things that other people look at, I think there can be some real value with that as well. It's just a calendar thing, right? It's when do you play these games? How many of them can you actually get? It's the same challenge that they have with Champions League or whatever those are. It's just become so many games and a lot of travel. So, but I like the concept. It's just a matter of how does it get worked out.
For sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Sam. We'll go next to Marcelino Fernandez with ESPN. Marcelino, go ahead.
Thank you, Greg. Marcelino Fernandez from ESPN Mexico. How do you feel the performance of Javier Hernandez in the first game and in the preseason? What do you expect from this, and how do you work with him with the last season that he don't adapt to the team and to the league?
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, the last season was the last season. It was different coach, different team, different scenario. He's addressed that from a personal standpoint. From a technical and tactical standpoint, we're very different than where we were, I think, a year ago or where the club was. So that aside, how we work and looking at last week, I'm pleased with how we started. I think, in the first half, we didn't have enough support kind of around him. It felt like he was pretty isolated, and because of that, he didn't get many touches and many looks in the areas that we want him to, in the box and in spaces like that. Second half, we were able to get more support around him, and and we can do that in different ways. And I felt like he was able to get those touches in the box and get opportunities, which is where he's at his best, is in and around in the front of the goal. So we have to continue to do that for him and support that. I think his work every day, he continues to work hard, and we today and days we try to make sure we get a certain amount of finishing for him and for the group every week, which my understanding is they never did last year. So these are all things that are positive for him as he continues on his journey. He's a fantastic player, very, very clever around the box, and between what we do as a group and him and what he's doing in training every day, I'm confident in his ability to continue to be successful through the season. And like all strikers, he'll some days he'll score and some days he won't. But I think by the end of it all, he'll have enough goals that it'll show that it makes a lot of sense, what's going on for him right now.
Thanks, Marcelino. We'll go next to John Rojas. John, go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, Greg. Thanks for the time. I actually have two questions. The first one, Saldana played a really good game last game, but from the outside, when Harvey came in, he gave you more of a presence on midfield. And my thinking there is, who between those two will get more playing time depends on that kind of presence against the rival, what they can bring to the team in that sense of the physical presence, the battle, and the 1v1s, or how do you go about those two guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think to the point they're not the same player. I think they play the position in different ways. I think, as you said, Carlos is a big physical presence. He's looking for tackles. He's looking to get involved in challenges, and that's a nice quality to have. Sometimes with Carlos, he uses his physicality even when he's on the ball. He wants to invite pressure, and he uses that to his advantage sometimes. So sometimes he doesn't play as fast as say an Adam would play faster, because he doesn't have the physical qualities that Carlos has, and so the ball gets on his foot and off his foot faster to other guys. And Adam, I think, is a clever defender. He's not necessarily, Carlos in terms of going through people and having that same presence. So they do it in different ways. It just depends on what we need at any given time. I want to see both of these guys. They're young. I want to see them develop, because I think they can get a little bit, they can add a little bit of what each other has in some ways to continue to fill out sort of their resume and pedigree, if you will. So we'll see. I mean, again, it's looking at different moments in different games to see what we're looking for and what our best solution is. I also want to support them and give them confidence in their development. They're young players, and every opportunity to play is an opportunity for them to learn and to gain some skills and some experience in their development. So, we'll keep that in mind as well. They both have a bright future, though.
Thank you for that one. The second one is that first win looks from the outside again that it meant more for the culture, the process, and the philosophy that you want to implement, that for the 3 points and the table, the standings. This second one too?
Yeah, I think, the win on the road and the way we went about it, coming back 2 times, the challenges that existed in terms of temperature and the things that were just present in the game, the first game of the year. Overcoming some difficult moments, I think, is always going to be a character win and a culture win in many ways. There were some things that we executed well, some things we didn't execute well. That's the beginning of the season. That's part of and especially with a new coach and a new philosophy and guys, everybody's still getting connected. We're going to do some things well, and we're going to do some things not well in the moment. And those minutes, the things we do well will increase in consistency as we continue to get more and more repetition. But in terms of the win, yeah, I think it was big for the cultural side of things and just for the mentality of the group to push through some challenges. This week it'll be similar in that, the game's not going to be perfect. No game against the Red Bulls is ever going to be perfect. That's just the way they like it, and they will have their influence on the game. So we have to again, look to play well, look to play in our style and our vision, but there's going to be challenges in this game, and we've got to concentrate for 90 minutes, and we've got to execute in the moments that we have opportunities to execute on both sides, in both boxes. So it will be, if we can get through it in the right way, it will be another culture win, and as they all are at the beginning of the season, and an opportunity for us to get better as we continue to assess ourselves and take steps forward.
Thanks, John. I think we have time for one more quick one. We'll go to Sophie Nicolau with the final question. Sophie, go ahead.
Thanks, Chris. Hey, Coach. I hope you're having an epic Friday. It's so early in the season, and you've got a new team you're gelling together. Just wondered, looking on the super positive side, what has encouraged you the most about this group of players that you're putting together, and the stuff that you're trying to implement? What have been those positives so far in such a short space of time?
Yeah, the first thing I'll say on the super positive side, I'll start off the field a little bit, is I think we have a really, really good group of guys. They enjoy each other. They work hard for each other. They respect each other. They respect the vision and the direction of what we're trying to do. And they're 100% bought in, and they're committed to it. And, we can sit in the video room and spend time and talk about situations and scenarios, and they're very free at having those discussions. And we can make progress when people are like that, and when people are open-minded and ready to make that kind of strides. And so they've done the same thing when we've gone on the field and we've trained and we worked on things. We get 100% every single day from every guy. That's not a given in every team, just to be clear. So to have that in a group like this is important as we continue to push forward. And I like the makeup of our team. I think, between the experienced guys and the younger players that are coming along, the additions that we continue to add, guys are starting to get more balanced out in terms of their fitness. The guys that showed up late needed to get some fitness under their belt. So we're starting to get where we're kind of more in the same place than we were even a week ago. So with that, I think understanding physically, just being on the same page is getting there, which means we're seeing more moments of success even in training, and guys taking things on in the way we like. So I like the direction that the team is going, and we still have a lot of work to do. We're still early stages, but I think the mentality of the group and the direction and the way they're taking things on has been very, very positive.